It is no secret why people love the heavyweights.
Landing these, oh nice uppercut!
There is always the chance of a sudden and spectacular ending.
Michael Moore is down, goes Moore on a right hand.
A list of the biggest punchers in boxing history has as much potential for being contentious as a pound-for-pound ranking.
A dynamite right to the jaw!
KO percentages, testimonies from past opponents, and highlight reels are all useful for narrowing the list down to finalists. But in the end, subjective opinion is still the deciding factor. We present you top 10 most powerful punchers in boxing history. Smokin' Joe was surely the greatest heavyweight left hooker. Sometimes he needed an accumulation of punches to get the job done, but his left hook flattened light heavyweight champion Bob Foster and blew Jimmy Ellis out of the fight.
Ellis standing there. Oh! A tremendous left hook, and he cannot be saved.
On March 8, 1971, Frazier faced off against Muhammad Ali in the fight of the century at Madison Square Garden. Frazier knocked Ali down in the 15th round with a left hook and earned a unanimous decision from the 3 judges at ringside. Frazier retired in December of 1981 with an overall record of 32 wins, 4 losses, 1 draw with 27 knockouts. With 43 knockouts in 49 successive wins, Marciano has to be near the top of any heavyweight hitters list.
Now watch Rocky's right hand.
His come-from-behind KO win over Jersey Joe Walcott was one of the most dramatic one-punch finishes of all time. The right hand that delivered most of Marciano's stoppages was nicknamed Susie Q, one of the most paralyzing weapons in the history of boxing. Early in his career, he was notorious for his punching power, with 11 first-round knockouts to his credit. As the opposition got better, Marciano relied on his incredible stamina, relentlessness, and ability to fight rough and swarm on the inside to get him through fights just as much as his power. David Twa never won a world title, but the Samoan from New Zealand put multiple world champions to sleep. If this was a list of the 10 greatest chins of all time, he would probably rank at least this high. If only Twa could have developed the ability to cut off the ring on a world-class fighter, he would have fought his way into the Hall of Fame. As it stands, he remains one of the most popular fighters of the past 30 years.
He gets the hands back up. Tua tries to finish. He's got it right. He's got him in trouble here in the 11th. Hard left hand by Tua. Ruiz is rocked in the first 20 seconds.
Twa's first-round stoppages of world champions John Ruiz and Michael Moorer both show up routinely on YouTube highlight reels.
Talk about how much he's improved his right hand. That was a straight right cross.
He stopped future world champion Hasim Rahman by round 10 TKO when trailing badly on the cards.
It's going to stop it.
His decision loss to Ike Ibeabuchi set a record for punches thrown in a heavyweight bout, and it is often speculated that it contributed to a more rapid decline in Ibeabuchi's mental condition.
Very active heavyweight fight.
Liston was among the most devastating punchers the sport has ever seen. He stood only a half inch above 6 feet tall, but he had the 84-inch reach of a 7-footer. He He wielded his oversized limbs like an angry bear slugging with telephone poles.
In the first round. Liston making them count.
Liston lands a right, and then a left hook. Zek goes down. A jab and a right uppercut, and Johnson hits the deck for the third time.
His 2 early KO wins over Cleveland Big Cat Williams and a 3rd-round knockout over the classic stylist Zara Foley were considered awesome exhibitions of heavyweight firepower.
Shake hands, come out fighting, and good luck to both.
Liston's power was too much for the best heavyweights of his time and enabled him to twice demolish Floyd Patterson in the first round. Vladimir Klitschko's left jab is among the best in the history of the heavyweight division. It's a punishing, battering ram punch.
Again, not doing enough to win the round. Good work from Klitschko.
Klitschko has also developed the ability to slightly alter the punch mid-delivery, turning it into a scythe-like, long-range hook.
Goes Pulev on another left hook.
But it's Klitschko's straight right that earned him the nickname Dr. Steel Hammer.
Beforehand. Oh, it's a good shot again.
That is among the most aesthetically perfect punches in boxing history. The long-reigning heavyweight champion has knocked out 53 opponents for a KO ratio of 77%. Notable victories include wins over Alexander Povetkin, David Haye, Samuel Peter, Eddie Chambers, Hasim Rahman, Calvin Brock, and Chris Bird. Mike Tyson's emergence as a dominant force at heavyweight in the second half of the 1980s is one of the most documented events in the sport's history.
Long is 27.
Oh, right uppercut to the body by Tyson. Again, was in trouble in both the first and 10th rounds.
The young Iron Mike was a bona fide pop culture phenomena. Tyson was like the reincarnation of Jack Dempsey, in a bigger, badder form. He'd move into range cleverly, behind his peekaboo guard, then attack like a buzzsaw.
And a right behind it, and Burbick is right.
Exploding concussive punches to the body and head with both hands.
He is gone right
At his best, against nearly any heavyweight contender who ever lived, Tyson could slip into exactly the middle distance he wanted to occupy, and then, even quicker than that, he could deliver stunning hooks, uppercuts and overhands, in rapid speed.
And now Tyson moves in for the kill. Thomas trying to hold on. Serious trouble, and down he goes.
He's one of the few fighters I've ever seen who clearly intimidated other world-class heavyweight fighters. More than 60 years after he retired, many boxing historians still regard Joe Louis as the greatest heavyweight champion of all time.
There's that right hand. Down goes Ramage.
He held the belt for a record 12 years and 25 defenses. His great hand speed, especially in combination, was awesome to behold. He had a powerful jab, threw every punch perfectly and with wasteless accuracy. His right cross, thrown short and straight, was sheer dynamite.
A dynamite right to the jaw, and Schmeling goes down here in the first.
The Brown Bomber never ducked anyone. Of those 25 successful defenses, 21 were won by knockout, 5 in the first round. By the early 1980s, Ernie Shaver's punching power was so legendary.
A wicked right uppercut floors Ellis. Jimmy in
Not only were 68 of Shaver's 74 victories by stoppage, but also, 33 of them came in the first 2 rounds. He knocked down Holmes with the right hand that might have finished many heavyweights. Shavers was especially dangerous early in a fight, as he showed when bombing out Ken Norton inside 2 minutes.
showing no movement at all. Whatever to his strategy, he's paying a price for it. And this is the very best up, down.
Three-time world heavyweight champion Lennox Lewis was one of the best right-hand hitters in the history of the heavyweight division.
Right hand by Lewis. Ruddock goes down.
At 6'5" with an 84 reach, Lewis would beat his opponents at a distance and keep them there, finishing many of his fights early.
Left hook by Lewis. Galana goes down.
He delivered some dramatic KO wins, notably against Razor Ruddock, Andrew Golota, Francois Botat, and in the rematch with Rackman. In 2002, Lewis defeated Mike Tyson in one of the most highly anticipated fights in boxing history.
Tyson trying to let his hands go. Catches two huge uppercuts.
He is regarded by many as one of the greatest heavyweight boxers of all time, and one of the greatest British fighters of all time. Big George did not punch with the impeccable form of a Tyson, Liston, or Lewis, but there was a time when he looked like an unstoppable force, clubbing his opponents with big, looping, bludgeoning blows.
A torrid culmination sends Kirkman down again.
His 1973 knockout over Joe Frazier was one of the most stunning performances ever, knocking him down 6 times along the way.
Knees buckled. He is down. He is down for the 4th time.
In March 1974, Foreman stopped Ken Norton in 2.
And it looks like Norton has really been staggered as he went up against the rope.
Foreman stayed out of the ring for 10 years from 1977 until 1987, and his comeback was considered ill-advised because he was 38 when he attempted his return.
22 seconds left in round 6, and that left hook did hurt him.
Foreman had not lost much mobility in the ring. He was still capable of landing heavy single blows.
Knockout punch doesn't always look like one, and Rodriguez goes down.
In 1994, he regained the heavyweight championship with the 10th round knockout of champion Michael Moorer.
Michael Moore. It happened! It happened!
Foreman finally retired in 1997 and will always be remembered for his sensational power.